All right. Hi, everybody. I'm D.Lisa West, and I'm a dream doula.
And I am Christina Spatower. I'm a psychotherapist and relationship coach.
Yes. And she has an Instagram that she never posts on, but she is going to. Oh my God. I went on there and I just wanted to learn all about the movies.
Yeah.
So we could probably go back and all the episodes we've ever recorded, and there'd be a movie post for you in there because we talked about a movie or two almost
Yeah,
every time we get together.
that is true. You are so right. I need to. Have you been putting the movie posts in the show notes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I need to go back to show notes that what movies did we talk about? And then I
Right
need to
on.
be a better social media person. And I have to admit, I'm horrible with Instagram. What are the rules? It can only be pictures that you've taken, or can I use a
Oh,
movie?
honey, there's no rules. There's no rules
Ah,
on the internet. What are you talking about? Um, Instagram is now owned by Facebook, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Let's go back. Cancel, cancel. Let's
yes,
go back to where we were going to go today.
right.
And yes, Christina loves to talk about movies. I'm sure one will pop up while we're chatting because that's how her brain works. And we were talking right before I hit record about authenticity. And I think if you think about whether you're truly authentic with people in your life,
Mhm,
there are some people that you are comfortable enough to be your real, true, authentic self with all the things that you might consider bad
mhm.
and just let that shine out. And then there's other times where we pretend like we're someone that we're not quite yet. And it's an interesting dance, isn't it?
Yes, it is an interesting dance. And as I've said before, and I will always say this, I think anytime we are not maybe being true to ourselves or not doing something we really want or not being who we want to be with friends, it all goes back to fear of
Mm.
rejection, fear of abandonment, fear that you see who I really am, you may not like me anymore.
Yes, I was just talking to a woman friend of mine today, and she was trying post relationship. So she's broken
Mm-hmm.
up with her love, and she's going through like, where did I not tell him what I wanted, and where did I not tell him what my needs were, and how can I do this better next time?
Good self.
Um, it's an interesting concept, and yeah, I can think that there are maybe just a handful of people that I feel really comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
that I could just be who I truly am. Tell
Mm-hmm.
them what I'm afraid of, tell them what I'm concerned about, tell them what I'm longing to do, and they won't crush my dream,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have some people that well-meaning and maybe relatives of ours where you're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm going to go do this." And they're like, "Ooh, you better be careful. Don't do that. That's
Yes.
bad. You're going to fail, or how are you going to do
Mm-hmm.
that?" And they just want the best for you usually.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but they're not our champions like the
No,
people we can go shopping with.
that is true. That is true. You know, it's funny. Our conversation started because you complimented on my shirt. Thank you so much. And I'd also gotten a compliment from somebody else I saw today in the elevator. And my dear friend, I won't give last names, but my dear friend Allie, I've known her since college. She is one of those people that I can totally 100% be myself with in oh my goodness, I'm having a bad day, or I'm feeling anxious about something, or and you just name it. She's one of those people, like if I'm breaking down, I need to cry, I don't have to worry how that will come off, you know. And if you're really, really lucky, because see, I think we have different types of friends, right? We have our coworker friends. We're great. We might do lunch with them and we get along wonderfully. And then we have other people like neighbors or people who are cool with, and then sometimes it intersects. But then you have those friends who you can be totally 100% authentically you. They will never judge you. They will never make you feel bad for who you are because they genuinely see you and they're like, I love you just the way you are. And one thing I love about Ellie is when I went shopping with her, I admit I like some people know like the fashions and the styles and all this stuff. That's never been my strong suit. But Allie not only, I'm saying she's a fashionista, but she knows what looks good on me and she cares enough about me to say, this will look great on you. You should get it.
Yes, I have friends like that. Um, who I would say, "Are you styling me?" We used to have once a year, we would have clothing exchanges with a group of
Mhm,
friends, and
mhm,
we were all sort of similar in size or the
mhm,
clothing that we wore. And we said, the stuff that you want to get rid of that you don't wear anymore,
mhm,
but it's really too nice to give to the
mhm.
Goodwill,
Yeah,
bring it to this. And then it
nice.
was this fun afternoon event where we tried on all these clothes and people would say, oh, wait, this would look better on you. Or why don't you put this
Mm,
with that? And shopping with a dear friend who knows what looks good on you and can see completely what you can't see is
right.
so much fun.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So those are the friends that don't just go shopping with us and do that, and it is so fun. These are also the friends who we can go to in our happiest and darkest moments.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know, the thing with social media, which I've always rag on, is that it's curated image. And you're showing either your best images, or sometimes you have people who actually who do, self-disclose stuff they're going through, and they have their own reasons. But there's something about when you have that friend who you're just you. You're not, being life is so exciting and dramatic. You're not having the world's greatest moment. You're just being you, and sometimes actually maybe being even a little quote boring. And they still love you, and you still enjoy each other's company. Those are the true blues. Those are the ones that, long haul kind of people.
Yes, I had a friend like that that I also went to college with, and we wouldn't talk for sometimes months, sometimes years,
Mhm.
as our lives were kind of going along. But every time we got together, it was like we just saw each other yesterday, and we
Yeah.
just started that conversation up again. It was like, yeah,
Mhm.
da, da, blah, 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 and whatever happened then, what about this? And it was always so fun to see her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that the key to that type of friendship is to be your authentic self, to basically come home to who you are and be
Yes.
witnessed by and accepted by someone who just loves you the way you are, exactly the way you are. They don't wish you were different, but if you would like to be different, they'll champion you in whatever your
Yeah.
change is doing, right? Yeah,
Exactly. And I
yeah,
think you hit the nail perfectly on the head. To have that, you need to not be afraid to be your true self. Part of the problem when people are afraid, like, well, if I let people see all this, then, maybe they won't like me. So if you kind of are trying to be something you're not, the mask will eventually slip, or
yeah,
your real self's going to come out anyway.
yeah.
So why not just be real? Like, seriously, be real, because that who is who you are, and that's who's going to be. And I love what you said. They will champion you for any improvements you want to make, because that's exactly it. A real friend doesn't want to change you, doesn't wish you were something different. But if you are on a journey of your own for self-improvement, self-discovery, they're like all for it. So
Yeah.
be yourself where you are, and invite the people into your life who see that and who are like, yeah, I want to hang out with you. And, when I was working, especially when I was working with people who'd been through really nasty breakups or difficult family situations or had a lot of rejection in their lives. They were afraid that there would never be anyone who could fill that role because
Mm.
unfortunately they'd been let down a lot. So I always say, yes, your experience, I will give it to you, has been hard and you have been let down a lot, but it's a pretty big world and there are many people in it. And even though it may feel like everybody in the world is untrustworthy or you can't find a decent friend, unfortunately, that has been your experience, but that doesn't mean that your dearest future friend to be is not around that corner for you.
Right, right. Yeah, and the linguistic a phrase that I like to use is up until now.
Up until now, oh, I like it.
Up until now, that was true, but
Right,
now, that's not true for you anymore.
right. I
People
love
don't,
that.
yeah, people don't have to disappoint you or
Right,
reject you or
right.
laugh at you or whatever it is that you're afraid of that you can't show your authentic face. And I love Eckhart Tolle. He's such a interesting weirdo, and I say that in the best way. And I saw him online today. He's marketing a class on, I think, the love of dogs. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
It's something about dogs, and he was petting maybe his dog, maybe someone else's dog, and talking about how lovely it is to greet a dog or to spend time with a dog or even to touch a dog. And when you look into the eyes of a dog, they're not judging you. They're not
Mhm.
rejecting you. It's
Yeah,
just you see them soul to soul level. And it's so more, I think it's easier for people to love dogs or cats
yeah.
sometimes than it is for them to love people.
I agree with you. I think that is why so many people, and I've heard from many people, both friends and clients, that they actually sometimes prefer dogs to people. And I think that's a big part of it. I think there is an unconditional acceptance and love you find with animals that you don't always find with people.
Right. Yeah. That they say they give you unconditional love.
Right.
And they're so happy when you come home.
They're so happy when you come home. I mean, they're just like they run, they jump into, jump for you, and like you open that door and they're so excited. And
Yeah.
yes, it feels wonderful. And maybe a good friend may not jump up and lick your face, or maybe you have that kind of relationship. I don't know. I don't judge. But they will be happy to see you because that's what a good friend is. And I think we need to be open to that possibility because, like you said, up until now, maybe your experiences have not been positive ones. But that doesn't mean that you can't have positive experiences now with people. And to that end, part of it is having a conversation and not being afraid to speak your mind and to be open and honest with respect, because sometimes people say like really like terrible insulting things and they say, oh, I'm just being honest. Okay, there's a
Right.
difference between be honest critique, honest feedback, and you're just being a jerk. And I think a lot of times when people say like very hurtful things, say I'm just being honest, or the worst one is they say I'm kidding, and I'm like, they make it sound like you have no sense of humor. Well, I didn't find that funny. So I think honestly they use that as a way
Right.
to make what they said okay. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being real, just being
Hmm.
real, being yourself and not being afraid to be yourself, because I'm a big believer things happen the way they're supposed to. We meet people the way we're supposed to. I do believe in that. And whatever your belief is, again, it's you up to you. But find that person who will be your friend, will be somebody that knows and sees the real you.
Right. And just like a dog, maybe they're going to love you exactly the way you are and be
Except,
so happy to see you whenever you get together.
yes. So that's what you're holding out for. And that's what you want. And don't settle for anything less. And don't twist yourself in a pretzel, trying to be something you're not, trying to look a certain way, act a certain way, thinking this will be more acceptable. Be you. You know, okay, I think I'm going back, I'm going to movie.
I've got my pen. I'm ready.
So what was it? Okay, I'm trying to think now. I'm gonna go over a couple of them. I am gonna go. I probably have mentioned this before, but I'm going for it again. It was actually an episode of the old Twilight Zone series, and it was a society where literally they wanted everyone to look alike. There were kind of two episodes that dealt with that, but this one in particular, and I do remember the exact title of it, but it was the idea that if you didn't, like, literally they all looked like clones of like perfection and all that. And so there was this woman whose late father had raised her on philosophy and all these things and to cultivate inner beauty. She wasn't outwardly beautiful to this society. And then for those of you who are thinking about the Eye of the Beholder episode, that's a different episode, but similar theme. I tell you, Rod Serling, his themes still resonate. The Eye of the Beholder one dealt with a woman who we don't see her face, but supposedly that we think she's hideous, and she's had multiple plastic surgeries to fit perfection. And then, spoiler alert, at the end, it turns out everyone around her looked like a cross between, I don't know, some kind of creature. And she looked beautiful. We're like, what? Eye of the Beholder, beauty's eye of the beholder. So there's a relating there. But this particular one, I wish I could remember the name. If I remember the name, I'll tell you, put in the show notes. So
Okay.
this one, so they wanted her to have the surgery to look like the perfect, like, both her mother and her sister had like the perfect look and like model look. And she was fighting it, even though the state was requiring it, because she believed, as her father did, in cultivating inner beauty.
Yeah.
And again, Rod Serling was the master of the twist and making you think. So, despite the fact she fought a valiant effort through much of the episode, in the end, she ends up having the procedure, and she's just as vapid and vacuous as her mother and sister, as she has this perfect model look, but she's lost what made her unique, special, and deep.
Wow. Well, I live in Southern California now, and we could go off on a long conversation about how people try to look a certain way here
Mm-hmm.
through all kinds of procedures and dyes. And it's a little bit shocking since I lived my whole life in Seattle before I moved here. And in
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, people are just kind of pudgy underneath all their
Mm-hmm.
sweaters and stuff in the summertime. Their
Mm-hmm.
pale white bodies come out, and no one really, I mean, the people that I knew up there anyway, they weren't
Mm-hmm.
really into looking a perfect way or dressing
Mm-hmm.
a perfect way. And so when I see people, especially young women, trying so hard to fit in to this unbelievable aesthetic of how you're supposed to look. Like, how are you supposed to look? It's confusing. Are you
Exactly.
supposed to be thin? Are you supposed to have a big butt? Are you supposed to have
Mm-hmm.
a small waist? Are you supposed to be athletic? Are you supposed to have long hair, short hair, curly hair, never have gray hair? I don't, big lips, small lips. I don't even know anymore. What's
I
the
don't.
perfect, what is the perfect look? And don't you know people who might be sort of homely in modern standards, but they're so luminous because their
Yes.
personality is so amazing and they're
Yes.
so cool that you just want to hang out with them.
Exactly. I do know those people, and I love those people. And
Yeah.
there's people I consider a friend. So Absolutely. So don't be, and this is like, this is why certain movies, certain shows will resonate with me. Like Rod Serling was great about that. So many episodes pushed, don't go with the crowd,
Yeah.
or showed the consequences, whether it's the mob getting something wrong, the mob mentality getting something completely wrong, or people giving up what made them special. Don't.
Yeah.
You are this unique person who came into this world. Be that person. And this is kind of the danger of social media, because especially for young women, we always had the magazines, we always had the shows, we always had the things making us feel bad about our bodies. Because you're right, thin lips, big lips, I don't know. We always had people making us feel bad, like judging ourselves. And it's still there. It's still there. And if you see like any of these movies, right, where the girl has gotten like a transformation, because so now she's acceptable. Like at first I was thinking of that movie, She's All That, where, the guy, Freddie Prince Jr., makes a bet with his buddies because he think he's had to break up with his, prom queen girlfriend there. And he basically has made a bet that he could take any woman and turn her into that type. So of course he picks for this bet who's considered the homely girl. So of course, she's, I'm blanking on the actress's name, but she's pretty. But of course, she's got her glasses and her hair up, and she's an artist and all of this. So what's the first thing that happens? Makeover, change her clothes, take off the glasses, change the hair, but deep down, she is still who she is. She's still an artist, and it's the artist part of her that he falls in love with. I know I'm doing
Mm.
major spoilers here. Forgive me, guys. Or you think of the Princess Diaries and the Anne Hathaway character, Mia, who finds out that she's actually a princess and they need her to run Genovia. But when the movie starts, the first one, she has, big curly hair and she's kind of like quiet, and she's sort of like the one that she like endeavors to be invisible in school. That's sort of where she's going with it. So what do? They straighten the hair and they do all these things. They give her these lessons. But in the end, she also discovers that she's not comfortable fitting into something she's not. And the friends that she values aren't the ones who suddenly glom onto her when she's popular, but the friends who've always been there, who saw her when she was invisible.
Mm.
So let's see
Right.
that you've gotten 2 movies and 2 Twilight Zone episodes.
Right on. You better stop channeling that information. That's too much for me to look up. So as always, I'll put these movies and Twilight Zone episodes in the show notes. And yeah, my message to any listener is, who are you really?
Mhm.
Who are you being? Because if you're not being yourself, what the what?
Yeah.
You just be who you are, and the people who love you will find you, or you'll find
Exactly.
them while you're being comfortably yourself. It takes so much stress off.
Yes, I agree. So, our message to you, dear audience, be yourself. Be
Right
the
on.
person that you came into this world as.
Yes. Shine that light. Thanks, Christina, again, and nice talk.
Nice talk. Thank you. Bye.